Right. So, Kevin, I keep hearing about all these different vitamins, but there's one that I feel like it just kind of slips under the radar, and I'm really curious about it today. Vitamin K. What's the deal with it? It just sounds a bit boring if I'm honest.
Oh, Linda, you've hit on such a gem. Vitamin K? Boring? No, no, no. It's absolutely one of the unsung heroes of the vitamin world, honestly. Most people, they just think, oh, blood clotting, right? And yes, it is absolutely essential for that, for proper coagulation, so you don't bleed out from a tiny cut, which is pretty vital. But it does so much more than just that. So much more, my dear. It's got layers, like an onion, but, a really healthy one.
Oh, right, okay. So it's not just about preventing me from bleeding forever then, because that's literally all I thought it did. I just pictured cuts healing faster. So you're saying there's actually a whole other side to it, because I'm genuinely intrigued now. Go on, tell me more. What else has this secret K been up to?
Absolutely, Linda. This is where it gets really interesting, especially with vitamin K2. See, while K1 is mainly, involved with the blood clotting factors in the liver, K2, it has this incredible, almost magical role in directing calcium. You know how everyone talks about calcium for strong bones? Well, K2 is like the traffic controller for that calcium. It makes sure the calcium goes exactly where it needs to be, into your bones and teeth, and, crucially, away from places it shouldn't be.
Wow, away from places it shouldn't be. So you're telling me that without enough K2, calcium could just end up floating around doing damage? That sounds a bit concerning. I always just thought more calcium equals better bones, but this is like a whole other level of complexity. So it's about, the direction of the calcium, not just the amount then.
Precisely. It's all about distribution. If you've got loads of calcium but not enough K2 to guide it, then yeah, that calcium it can end up calcifying soft tissues. And we definitely don't want that, do we? So K2 helps activate these specific proteins like osteocalcin that bind calcium to the bone matrix, effectively strengthening them. It's absolutely vital for bone density, particularly as we get older. A real game changer for bone health, honestly.
Right. Okay. So bone health, that makes a lot of sense actually, especially with what you just said about calcium going where it shouldn't. So where else might calcium be going if K2 isn't doing its job? Are we talking anything else equally as important, perhaps? Because I'm picturing calcium just wreaking havoc now. It's a bit worrying, actually.
Oh, it absolutely is important, Linda. And this is where we get into its role in cardiovascular health, which is, just as critical. That unwanted calcium you mentioned, a significant place it can end up is in your arteries, causing arterial calcification. This makes your arteries stiff and less elastic, which is a major factor in heart disease. But here's the brilliant bit. K2 helps activate another protein called MGP, matrix glea protein, which actually prevents calcium from depositing in your arterial walls. It literally helps keep your arteries flexible and healthy. It's truly amazing. It protects your heart.
Wow, so it's like a protector for your heart and your bones. That's genuinely impressive. I had no idea vitamin K was so, multifaceted. So K1 for blood and K2 for bones and heart. And where do we even get this K2, Kevin? Is it in all the leafy greens too, or is that more K1 territory?
Excellent question. You're absolutely right, Linda. Leafy greens like spinach, kale, and broccoli are fantastic sources of vitamin K1. So if you're eating your veggies, you're likely getting enough K1 for blood clotting. But for K2, it's a bit trickier. It's predominantly found in fermented foods like natto, which has a very distinct flavor, shall we say, and certain cheeses and even some animal products. There are different forms of K2, mainly MK4 and MK7, with MK7 being particularly bioavailable and having a longer half-life.
Natto, right. I've heard about that. Maybe not my first choice. So for those of us who, aren't regularly consuming super fermented soybeans, what's a good way to ensure we're getting enough K2? Is it something we should consider supplementing, especially given all its amazing benefits for like bones and heart? Because that sounds like something we really shouldn't be missing out on.
Well, definitely consider foods like grass-fed dairy, egg yolks, and even some high-quality meats, as they contain MK4. But yes, for consistent and optimal K2 levels, many people do opt for a supplement, especially those concerned about bone density or cardiovascular health. Always have a chat with your GP first, of course, particularly if you're on blood thinners, as vitamin K can interact with them. But honestly, Linda, it's a vital nutrient, and knowing its full potential really helps you, appreciate just how essential it is. It's truly an unsung hero.